Good afternoon, Senator Craven, Representative Farnsworth, and members of the committee. I am State Representative Mike Nadeau. I'm pleased to introduce LD 1820, the Governor's Bill. Now, as a side note, it's not only because it's the Governor's Bill, it's because of when I sent out a questionnaire to my district, when I got the questionnaire back, the #1 thing that people wanted was welfare reform. And I have this here if anybody wants to see it. That's results. The bill to reduce the abuse of TANF assistance for needy families program through geographic restriction and electronic benefit transfer cards as its lead sponsor. Many of my constituents have expressed to me that they are happy to offer a helping hand to their neighbors, but they want to ensure that the money is not misused. And that was the leading thing from my community in my district. The bill attempts to prevent the use of TANF welfare benefits by folks who are not Maine residents. The Department of Health and Human Services has data that EBT cards have been used all over the country by individuals for periods longer than a year. It is one thing to visit a relative in New Hampshire for a day, but it is another to use the Maine EBT card in California for over a year. The first person likely will not be impacted by this legislation, but a person who moved to California should not be on Maine's TANF program. This measure restricts electronic use of the EBT card for TANF benefits to Maine. This does not restrict where food stamps on the EBT card are spent. It does not affect other accounts on the EBT card. It also does not restrict a person's ability to remove cash from the card and travel to other state. This does not mean you cannot go visit a sick relative in another state. It does not mean that folks who have left the state will be identified. It does mean, however, it does mean that folks who have left the state will be identified and removed from the program. It further means that if you are trafficking an EBT card to someone that uses it outside of Maine, which is illegal, you will suffer the consequences. We all believe in helping each other. The people in my district would give the shirts off their back to someone in need. However, we need to help those who are really in need. Moreover, the money in this program should go to people who truly live in Maine. It's a pleasure to sponsor this bill. Should you have any questions, I know the people from the department will be able to answer them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Representative Nadeau. Yes, Representative Jordan.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I'm just trying to get a sense of this because I've heard some discussion about these kinds of things before, and it seemed like one of the issues that came up was that people who live in Maine might live in a border state, like they might live on the edge of New Hampshire, and so their closest store to them might actually be in New Hampshire, which means that they might be using their cards for, TANF benefits, food stamps, whatever, in New Hampshire, and therefore it might look like they've actually moved to New Hampshire if you did statistics on where they were using their card. So I'm just wondering, do you have any statistics as far as what states people who say that they're from Maine are using these cards in, and what percentage? So that might be helpful just to have that discussion.
I'm sorry, I do not have that information, but I'm hoping that those coming behind me will. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm curious about the survey. To whom did you send the survey forms?
To everybody in my district.
To everybody in your district?
Everybody.
What was your percentage of return?
Very high. I had, I'm not sure if I have the number here. I know that I got as many returns in the survey from Aroostook County that a lot of large cities with 10 times the population I had more returns. So that's the only number I can give.
So you sent out approximately how many?
I'm not sure about the number.
You're not sure.
I would be guessing.
So we don't know about what the percentage was. But
No.
Because that's a significant factor in determining the validity.
Well, the thing that I would say is that these went to everybody in my district, from Allagash to Ashland, regardless of affiliation. And these are the results that I got.
Thank you.
Representative Jordan.
I guess the other question I would want to know is, what the numbers of TANF recipients have been over the years? And like, if someone, and maybe someone else in the audience can give us that information, what's the usual number of families that are participating, and is that less or more than in the past?
I will defer that to those that know better than I do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Sanders.
Representative, for the work session, might you be able to provide us with information? I know there were several constituent surveys sent out, and statewide, that might prove a much bigger number for a much bigger sampling than just one district, which might lend to the credibility of the returns of your survey as well. Do
I
you
will
think you
do
can
that.
provide those?
I certainly will.
Thank you.
And a reminder, the work session is tomorrow.
Thank you, Senator.
Yes, I thought I'd tell you that, so you better get to work on that.
Well, I had a message that came in that said it was for tomorrow, and then I got another one that came in that says that it was postponed.
No, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. We have our work sessions tomorrow.
It was a fluke with the program that we use.
Okay,
It's on the
because,
schedule, so.
okay, thank you.
Other questions? Yeah, don't go away yet. We'll dismiss you when we're done with you.
I'll just
Representative
give
McAfee.
you a tip. I think that our legislative aides would be very helpful there for you, and you wouldn't have much trouble getting that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions for Representative Nadeau? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.